Kids and Cadets, double Saturday to you. I put out a video earlier on a yard machine. Nice guy come out, bought it for $130. He had a landscaping company. This was a standard pusher with high rear wheels. He wanted a machine to be able to get in people's backyards that have a narrow fence. This was a backup machine. I think he has something that'll fit back there, but he wanted something to use in an emergency. He wanted to know if I would work on his commercial equipment. I said I got enough junk on four wheels to work on. So we're working on this Husky, the Yankee Tango Alpha 24 Victor 48. It's a 24 horsepower, 48-inch deck. This thing's a big turd. This is a buddy of mine that paid $250 for it. I believe the electric PTO is frozen. I have a used one that I have to put on, and then the original gas tank. These are known problematic tanks. The seam right here started leaking, and I got full of gas here. When I took it out, I tilted it back, and all this gas poured out of the seam here. So we're going to discuss how I got the rotten plastic turd off of this orange piece of crap. So I had looked at some part suppliers for this YTA for another gas tank. One said 180, they had one in stock, and another company said the part number for this machine is superseded, and it gave me about 10 to 12 new part numbers. So I just went down the list to see who had one of those, and I ended up finding this tank here. So the part number on this tank, it's the 532438028. I moved the sticker from back here up here so you could read that. I'll put the company name where I found this thing. They shipped it out promptly. So I'll show you how I got this far in disassembling the deck here. Got this one in place. I had to remove two springs here, I think, to make the job easier for me, and I'll show you how to replace those. It was in this job's in R&R. Remove the old cracked turd and put a fresh turd in its place. So the first thing I did was remove the plastic handle here on the selector that just pulls up, and then there's 4 1/2-inch nuts here. The back two have the spring on them. These two that are in the front are just the nut, so take those off. 1/2-inch drive. I recommend you use an impact for this. It made my life easier. So I've got an extension on here with had a 1/2-inch socket on it. Buzz these two off, these 4 off. I didn't have to remove the seat. So those are, when those are come off, you got access to the tank here. You can remove your fuel line, which was easy for me because this old one here, the gasket rotted away, and I believe water was just coming into this cavity and going into the tank. You can see the rubber grommet here kind of faded away, and the breather tube here was all rotted. They give you a new one on the tank, so this has got to be threaded back under the engine. It pops up right through here, and then attaches right here. But there's 6 half-inch drive bolts down here. This is where your impact or pneumatic air gun comes in handy. You can see the tree here, so there's going to be a nut here and then bolts back there. It's easy to reach your um, pneumatic back there and buzz those off. Then you come over to this side. I also remove the plastic beauty cover here to get access. You're going to have 2 in the back, and then you have 1 nut here. Buzz those off. If you were just doing it by hand, I think the access would be too tight to get in there and do it. That's why the pneumatic was so easy. I buzz that off. That kind of lifts this console up so you have more room to lift the deck. So I'll show you that next. So I just took some 4x4 blocks, lifted up the deck and kind of wedged them here to keep the deck up high. Same thing with this side. I just have a 4x4 block resting on the deck to keep the body up. So I remove these on both sides, the plastic beauty markers. Those came off. You can see how we got a little lift here now. That allows you to lift this up high and have better access. So what I did back here with this thing, it was good to remove this. There's 3 half-inch bolts that hold this thing off. So I removed this one, loosened up this one right here, and it kind of went forward. This acted like a hinge because there's with 2 springs still attached here, so it pulled this all the way forward. Before I did that, I manipulated the gas tank, the old one, out, then manipulated this thing. It came forward. I unhooked the 2 springs with it still attached here with that half-inch, and let it go forward. That released the tension on the springs. I just took some channel locks, unhooked them here, and put them through the hole. Went ahead, manipulated my tank back into place, hooked up my fuel line, ran this along the chassis to the front. Now that this thing's ready to go back. I got a rag here to keep any dirt out of the tank. I'm going to reuse the old cap that came with this thing. So I'm going to show you how to get the springs back into place. There's 2 of them here. I found this old bail bar that's broken on this side, but it's got a nice heavy-duty hook here. What I'm going to attempt to do is hook the spring with the bail bar, pull it through, hook it here. I'm going to start with this one here on the right side first. Get this one lined up, hook it, and pull it out here. I have my half-inch bolts already started. I got to get this one started a little better first, and then we'll get the springs into place. Once that's done, then you can just reverse order, put this deck back down on the seat bracket, tighten it all down, and then go up to the console and tighten that down. I don't know, maybe there's another way of doing it. Maybe there's a guy out there that's done these under seat gas tanks before. So let me know if you got an easier way of doing this. But I kind of just eyeballed it, figured out what would work. I think removing the 6 console bolts lifting it up and then removing this seat bracket seemed to be the way to go. I'm just going to get these started and then show you how to hook the spring. It's windy here, about 85 to 90. The wind keeps blowing my sun hat off. Okay, let me knock you down a step and then try to focus you in here. So that's the deal. So I got my 3 bolts started. Why don't I put them on all the way? That way I'm not fighting the tension on those big springs. Sorry, I'm hacking and slashing here as we go. I'm making it up. Kind of been putting this job off, but he reached out to me this week, so I got to try to plow ahead with this. I'll go on to the electric PTO next. Kind of eyeballed what I had versus what I just bought used. The part number seems to match, but it's slightly different. Well, what I should say is that there's 2 different part numbers, and it says it'll work in both applications. So I gotta see if I can manipulate the used one to make it work. But according to the description that I bought from this guy, it should fit the machine. We'll find out here later today. Okay. One more pass, snuggy, snuggy. Okay, that's good. Okay, let me reach in there and get this furthest right one lined up. So I got it hooked here. I'm just going to pull it into place. Quite a bit of tension. Try not to knock you over. Okay, something like that. I'm not in. I just got to tap this down. The end of the spring isn't in place. I got to tap it down. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to get channel locks and try to grab it like that to pull it down. I could really use anything, but there we go. A lot of tension there. Let me grab the bale, brake bale again, grab the second one, pull it through the hole like so. Get the hole lined up, bring my bale bar out, and that one popped into place on its own. So now we're good. That was the bear getting this thing, the springs in. If you don't have a broken one, you can still use a bale bar off one of your push mowers. Just detach it use this nice strong hook and then put it back on your mower when you're done. So this tank does not attach with any nuts and bolts. It kind of sandwiches itself under the seat. It kind of rests here on its own. So what I'm going to do is kind of remove the blocks and let this thing find its way into place. I'll feed my filler neck. Let me get you back up. Double shot of Tommy time today. Hope your Saturday's going well. Okay, remove this 4x4. Now I got to come over here to my filler. It doesn't want to go through the hole. Manipulate that in. Come on, you booger. There we go. Remove the seat safety switch from binding. What else? My breather hose. Make sure that's not binding anywhere. Okay. So that's down pretty much. So I come up here and this is off, so that stud's got to come through. You got to kind of line up the holes. These two need to be lined up. So that one's in place. And this one's got to be lined up. So this thing moves around. You kind of can move the console as necessary to get it lined up. And then just reattach these 6. Put your plastic beauty shields on and you should be good to go. Rear 2 have the springs. This one doesn't. And that's basically it. Same design as the old one. You got your X here. You got your fuel hose. You got your X, your fuel line. So same exact tank with a different part number, but it works in this application. I had them side by side and they're exactly the same. So no clucking around today. We're really making tracks on this 2015 Husky. I'll probably use Torx and get rid of the keeper, because this thing is just waiting to break apart and fall in the tank. So I'm going to get rid of that keeper, not order another one. They probably want $60 for this thing. So that's all I got. It's starting to get toasty. I'm going to put this video on for you and get back to work. My iPad's starting to show me it's overheating. Like I said, we're probably hitting 90 today. I see 3 clouds in the sky. So that means in the future I'm going to have to pick a shady spot to do videos. Otherwise, I'm going to be roasting. The iPad's going to be roasting. Okay, that's all I got for you. I'll put this part number down below. If you've got this under seat style tank, 2015 Husky, this may work for you. The Yankee Tango Alpha 24 horsepower V 48-inch cutting deck. Okay, have a good day today. I'll throw something at you for Sunday. That's all I got. No clucking around. Tip your waitress and waitstaff. Adios, amigos.